Welcome, welcome, welcome. So, welcome back. Thank you guys for being here. So, while you're here, please enter, hit the like button if you're new, subscribe. Please make sure you share any of our videos. Hit the bell notification so that way, whenever we go live, you'll be able to get notified. Hey, it's 8 p.m. Friday night, Bevon is live. I want to just follow along. So, I'm really grateful for all you guys' support over the past 5 years. I'm really grateful for the community members. And for me, who would have thought, like, just being here and everything that I'm, in the cannabis industry, that I'll be using math, right, chemistry and biology when it comes to cannabis. And so, those of you who are younger and getting started in the industry and you're going to school, please make sure that you study, right? You will need math, especially when it comes to selling products, do all your formulations, chemistry, doing extraction, biology, plant growing, and so stick to education. And so tonight's topic is genetics, DNA, cannabinoids. How can it help? So are you in pain, right? Are you suffering from anxiety, depression, like I suffer from? Are you stressed out every day? Are you suffering from any diseases? I know many of you in industry who have been following for the longest, who've come to me late at night asking questions like Huntington disease, right? Fibromyalgia. We know that cannabis, especially compounds like CBD and THC, helps wonderful when it comes to pain and inflammation. So if you're suffering from disease, this is a good topic to go over. If you're looking for relief from just pain, osteoarthritis, arthritis, any of those just, chronic issues that you have, CBD and cannabis can help. Lastly, are you looking to improve your quality of life? So these are some of the questions that I have for you so you could think about when it comes to education. A lot of you are here because you want to get away from pills and come to plant-based medicine. And so tonight we're going to talk about DNA, genetics. And so what can my DNA tell me about cannabis? As we know, our ECS system, our bodies is made for cannabis, right? Our bodies have its own cannabinoids in there. And so our DNA is able to tell us, like, hey, this is what is happening in your body and this is what you needed. If you look at us from ancient civilization, a lot of our culture used cannabis and other plant-based medicine to help them heal. And so the goal is to test your DNA and say, hey, this is what I need, and this is the amount that I need. And so we go through that tonight. Another question that be asking, how much CBD should I be taking, and how much cannabis can I consume? For those of you who are looking for cannabis for pain, but hey, you're smoking way too much THC. If you go to a dispensary, we've seen studies that shows about anywhere from 60 to 70% of the people who are going to dispensaries are using more THC than they needed, right? Especially if you buy a cart, that's 80%, 90%. All that THC in your system, yes, it help you for pain, help you relax, make you put you to sleep, but is helping you in the long term when it comes to pain management and helping you relieve the inflammation, because THC doesn't do that. THC is more for pain. And so we get into it tonight. So what is DNA, right? DNA is the building block of life, right? Everything we know comes from a DNA. If you, like me, I'm weird, right? So I study ancient times. I love ancient Egyptians, the Mayans, Aztecs. Like studying those things helped me understand how our future life was, right? And how it applies today. So if you look at any other the writings on the wall, some of the drawings, we all see DNA strands some way when it comes to ancient ancestors. And so DNA has been around for a long time. And so DNA is a molecule composed of two polynucleotide chains that coil around each other to form a double helix carrying genetic instructions for the development, functioning, growth, reproduction of all known organisms, including many viruses, right? So that's genetic instructions. Is basically say, hey, this person is going to look like X, Y, and Z. So like somebody may have blue eyes, somebody may have green eyes, some of us look black, some of us look white. That's how our DNA plays a part of that. So what is genetics? Genetics is a branch of biology concerned with the study of genes, genetic variation, and heredity in organisms, right? Excuse me right there. So genetics is basically the study of hereditary and our genes. So for example, genetics can tell us what issues our great grandparents have. That's the easiest way to look at it. So you might ask, why is this relevant? So our genes, right, are segments of our DNA that contains the code for specific protein that functions in one or more types of cells in the body. So if our cells start breaking down, you get sick, right? And so you have to look at chromosomes. Chromosomes are structures within cells that contain a person's genes. And if you look at a DNA strand, the one little strand looks kind of like this is a chromosome. And so those are in the cell nucleus. And so when we look at any illnesses or disease that we may have, it might be due to our genetics, it might be due to our DNA, right? Especially when you go to the regular Western doctor, they have no idea what's going on with you sometimes, right? Those of you, you know what I'm talking about. And so they give you pills to just mask the pain, but it doesn't really help you fix the issue, right? So this is where genetics can tell you, hey, you're more likely to develop X, Y, Z. So these are the cannabinoids, these are the foods you should be eating, right? You should be eating healthier. Like, COVID kind of, if you look at a whole, a lot of us gained weight during COVID because we wasn't taking care of ourselves. We were stressed out because of the elements of what's going wrong. And so you have to just remember that all these things, play a part in our genetics and our DNA, the stress that we go through in daily life, all that affects us. And so our genes play a large role in deciding how our body and nervous system react to cannabis, right? So many cannabis elements belong to a class of molecules, or like I said, compounds, known as cannabinoids, which is THC, CBD, etc. And then we have another class called terpenes, which is the flavor when you smell the plant. And so those of you who clean with pine salt, that pinene, right, is a terpene. And so I would like to just talk really briefly about some of the benefits when it comes to cannabinoids. So for example, THC is good for pain, nausea, muscle spasms, and helps stimulate your appetite. So those of you who smoke marijuana, or partake in marijuana, know that you get the appetite, and you get, you feel like you're hungry, you want to eat a lot. So that's what THC does. CBD, we know, is for me, is the mother cannabinoid. I say that because moms are the ones who are more nurturing. You fall and bust your ass, the moms are the one come running with the bandage, right? THC is the dad, he's just high strung. And so CBD, as we know, is good for relieving pain, right? For seizures, for anxiety, blood sugar, kills and slow bacteria, reduce nausea, tumor cancer, artery blockage, treats psoriasis, antipsychotic, muscle spasms, for bone growth, and of course reduce inflammation. So then we have CBN, which is relieves pain, helps you sleep better, and CBN is a kind of a byproduct of THC. So those of you who have old THC in a jar, like just sitting around, after a while it converts a lot into CBN, and CBN is really good for sleep, for relaxing. CBC, which is another cannabinoid, which relieves pain, good for tumor cancer, promotes bone growth, and reduce inflammation. These are just some minor, major cannabinoids, but I just want to go through a brief of them for you so you can understand how wonderful cannabinoids are and why, getting your genetics tested is going to be able to say, hey, Bevon, this is what your body needs. You're taking too much CBD. Maybe, I need more CBG. I need more CBN. And for those of you watching, CBG is really good for IBS, Crohn's, the gut issues from the studies that we've seen, and this is as of 2021. I can tell you that everything I'm telling you here is just information that I've learned over the years. Please see a doctor before you administer anything. No matter the education I provide, I will hope that you will continue to educate yourself so that way you are not just taking everything I say for granted. Study, do your research. And we always provide the links and resources on our content over on CBD Help. And so THC and CBD, the two most abundant cannabinoids, right? THC is higher in marijuana, CBD is higher in hemp. And that's, you look at the difference between hemp and marijuana. Hemp has 0.3% or less THC, and so those two are the most abundant, right? They mediate the psychological effects through a cellular signal pathway known as the endocannabinoid system. And ECS plays a primary role in a number of psychological systems and biological processes, including metabolism, appetite, pain, sleep, mood, learning, memory, cardiovascular function, gastrointestinal function, immune system, and neural development. And so, if you ever hear us in the industry called homeostasis, right? Homeostasis is when the body is even keeled, it's functioning the way it should, and it helps regulate. By being so even, the ECS system is regulating properly our body. And so the goal here is, as we take CBD and THC and other cannabinoids, especially in some of the other lessons that you see me talk about, like full spectrum, broad spectrum, by having like a full spectrum range of cannabinoids, including terpenes and flavonoids, helps you to bring closer to homeostasis. Like I said, our ancient ancestors all experience many things, like just reading, studying, and seeing how they was able to create so many wonderful things that us today we can't even create. Like, just imagine the knowledge that has been lost over the years. And so I'm really grateful for Greenway DNA, right? For the past, I said, 2.5 years, I've been searching for like brands and lab facilities that I can partner with to help me continue to educate you and others in the community. And for me, everything I do is for education, right? And so by partnering with them, I'm able to get my DNA tested and explain to you the process, my results, so that way you can see like what amount of cannabinoids I need in my body. And my hope is for you, if you were like somebody, have fibromyalgia, or you may have some kind of pain that you have no idea what's causing it, the doctor doesn't know, then the DNA test will say, okay, well, Bevon, I need XYZ CBD, THC. And so the kit, it identifies which dosage and ratio of cannabinoids and terpenes you should use on your path to healing, right? So it says, hey, this is your DNA, this is your results, and then I can take that and go to a doctor or a formulation. Like for me, I've been already planning this out, right? I have friends and colleagues like in DC. Last week I had Georgetown Hemp in one of the previous lives. We talk about formulation and what he does. And so like being able to get my results in a few weeks and go take it to him, I'm really excited, right? This is like for me a game changer, because looking at where the industry going, like I tell my class that I teach Monday to Saturday that you have to look at this industry not as a $1 million industry or $1 billion industry that you see people put online. I look at it long term for me. Like everything I do is long term. I look at this industry as a $1 trillion industry, because behind the scenes I've seen what's coming, right? Like I said, pharmacists are going to be able to compound lower dose naproxen for pain along with CBD. For me, like looking into the future, I see CBD being with Tylenol, like all these other drugs. That's what's coming, right? We know that penicillin, all these medicines come from plants, right? Whether it's fungus, a mold, all those other things. This is where our medicine comes from. It's plant-based. And so this is where it's going. And so this is why I'm just like, I'm excited about these things, right? The kit reveal your unique genetic profile, right? It identify cannabis compatibilities. So like I said, what terpenes and cannabinoids should I be taking on a daily basis? And so, like I said, why? What's the benefits of this, right? So the benefits is easy. Like for somebody who may have insomnia, right? This is going to help you assist with your sleep, right? The analgesic, anti-anxiety, sedative qualities of not only CBD, but like CBN and THC can also address sources of insomnia due to pain and other life factors. So let's look at on a on a science side of things, right? the body is like for me right now. I'm in a lot of pain. Like I've mentioned this for weeks now, and it has to do with inflammation, right? Inflammation is we're not taking care of our bodies, the food we eat, just stress of life, just the daily things that we go through, right? If my body's inflamed, then like me, I'm in pain, so I have trouble sleeping. So I'm like, I wish I could sleep, right? So majority of us is because of inflammation, it's a pain. We can't sleep because we have anxiety or we have depression. So anxiety is us focusing on the future, like oh my gosh, I don't know what's gonna happen tomorrow. Depression is me focusing on all the past issues that I've been through, and so by having your genetics tested, you're gonna be able to see like, hey, this is compounds that I need together to help me when it comes to sleep. And then, relieve pain. So the test can be for genetic variations associated with increased pain sensitivity and provides appropriate recommendations. So relieve pain is anxiety, like I said. Certain cannabinoid ratios can aggravate or relieve psychosis and or anxiety in some people. So you get your recommendations for your ideal cannabinoid ratio, right? And then like for me, I've spent the last 5 years, pushing myself where I didn't really take care of myself like I need to, right? And so now, like, this has been a really good year for me. I've been able to enhance my lifestyle by, I position myself to where now, when I get up in the morning, I can do my yoga, I can take my time in the morning before I go into the office to check out my plants, right? And that's enhancing my lifestyle to be able to create my own dreams and live the life that a lot of people want, but they cannot go for, right? And so by having my genetics and knowing what cannabinoids I can take, I can say, okay, this is going to help me so that way I can live the lifestyle I want to live, right? If you're wanting to, go on this long journey of building your business or helping yourself, you're going to have a lot of trials and tribulations, working long hours. You have to be able to take care of yourself. And so I'm excited. It's going to minimize the side effects. You can know for what your body needs. It'll help you reduce any side effects that can arise by taking more cannabinoids or terpenes. Right? Cannabinoids like THC and CBD can influence how you respond to cannabis and cannabis-related products. So Greenway is using a patent-pending DNA test. Take your saliva and get your results. So for me, I was very wasn't sure if I wanted to take this DNA, to be honest. It was me having that relation that I was in the military, the government, have all my DNA. So what am I scared for, right? And so I will hope that you who really want hey, I'm in pain, I'm suffering, I know somebody who is taking too much THC, or they're not taking enough CBD. I would have questions and they say, well, I want to know what I can take and that's accurate without just having to rely on brands, because we see so many brands now having all these products that say yes, it's 1,000 milligrams, but it may only be 800 milligrams in the product. So you have to be very careful. So I'm really grateful for Greenway for supporting the channel, for partnering with CBD How. Education is very important for me, and so we have a coupon code for 10%. CBD How, it's all caps. The cost of the test is $149, and which is reasonable. Some of the other companies that do this also have around the same price. So I hope that you, just if you take a test, let me know what your thoughts are. Leave a comment, message me on Instagram, over on Facebook, Reddit. You can find me and just go to CBD How, message me over there. Say, hey, Bevon, I took the test. I have some questions. Can you please direct me to any doctors that you know who's cannabis friendly? And I can do that for you. And so I have a video that I did with for the test. I went through and explained what I did. So I'll play it at the end of the video. For those of you who want to watch it, it's about 8 minutes long. For me, it's not unedited. So I'm giving you forewarning. I was spitting it into the device, But the video is there. Next week, I'm going to talk about how to make money in the hemp industry. Like I said, I teach class. I teach from A to Z when it comes to marketing, branding, growing, the history, compliance, getting merchant accounts, making sure your website's up and running. So these are the things that I teach in my current class. And so I'm going to talk briefly about those things next week's episode. And so, yeah, thank you so much for the support. I'm really grateful for those of you who continue to come here, spend half hour with me on Friday nights. Please make sure you like the channel, share, subscribe, and thank you so much for just continue to help me push the envelope when it comes to education. So thank you for those of you who are always asking me for answers. Those of you who say, hey Bevon, can you please go over these topics? Keep them coming. It helps me to learn and educate, and return, I will continue to help you. So with that said, have a beautiful Friday, and please watch this 8-minute video. Let me know your thoughts on there, leave a comment, and yeah, enjoy your weekend. Everyone, so in this video I'm talking about Greenway DNA, and check it out. So for me, I'm really excited to try this kit. And those of you who may not know who I am, my name is Bevon. I'm the founder of CBD How. I've been educating on hemp and CBD since 2016. And as an educator, I'm always thinking about what's next, future. And right now, I'm in level 8 of 10 pain. I have a pinched nerve on my back, and the pain just comes down to my hands. So I'm having trouble sitting, and it's kind of, even though I'm in pain, it excites me because of this product here. So what Greenway does, I'm able to collect my saliva and I send it in to get the DNA of my results, which will show me which cannabinoids, terpenes, etc. I'm able to take and which amount, so that way I can find the proper cannabinoids and the proper medicine value for myself, right? Like instead of me having to take 30 milligrams of CBD every day, maybe I need to take 20 milligrams of CBD, 0.2% THC, 3 milligrams of CBC, 10 milligrams of CBN. Taking this test right here is going to allow me to do that. So I just want to go through what I'm doing right here, so that way you guys can understand. So in the kit comes a nice little kit container, which is this right here, is so you can mail it back. It has the address on here. And then it has this little kit right here, which is cool. So what I like about it is it gives you everything you need to know on instructions. On the back is the activation code. And so it's a 7-step process. So the very first step is to activate your kit, right? You go to GreenwayDNA.com/activate. You put in the activation number, which comes here into your kit. It's a little number on here. It's also on the collector. And so number 2 is steps to collecting your DNA. So here you go online, you activate, you put in the code, right? You have the tube. You're supposed to put your saliva in here, and it has a line up to where it's supposed to be. And one of the things you have to remember is that it says, please remember not to eat, drink, smoke, or chew gum 30 minutes before collecting your DNA. So you collect it, you unscrew it, you throw it away. You have a cap here, a blue cap. You screw it back on, shake it for at least 5 seconds, and then you place it back in the envelope and you mail it in. And then you get your recommended dosage, and then you can take that to your physician to help you with your plan. So I already have an area in DC, a store who's going to help me along the way. And so this is the future, right? We think about where we're going long term. Is medicine is a $1 trillion industry, right? We know that CBD is being treated as a medicine. For us, it's all about getting accurate levels, right? The industry is so new and so unregulated that as consumers, it's hard to trust, right? We don't know, like, I'm taking 1,000 milligrams going to really help me, or maybe I need to take 1,500 milligrams. So by using this DNA kit right here, you'll be able to know exactly what your needs are and you'll be able to find someone who can help you out. And this is what's coming long term. At some point in the future, you'll be able to go to your doctor office, doctor look at your results and let them say, hey, this is what you need. So, here's a prescription. You go to dispensary, or hopefully the doctor will be able to prescribe you in-house the proper medication value for you, right, when it comes to cannabinoids and the terpenes. And so, yeah, I'm excited. So I'm a little nervous here, but I haven't touched anything. I haven't drank anything. I haven't smoked or vape or anything in over an hour. So let's get to work right here. So I'm gonna fill the tube, and then I'm gonna go ahead and take it off. So saliva, not including bubbles, to the black line. So black line right here, and be careful not to go too far above the mark. So let's try this. Wow. There's a lot of bubbles here. See, this is kind of like a little trippy for me because I want to like take some water right now and add it in here, but yeah, at a saliva level, right? But my mouth is so dry because I haven't like drank anything in 30 minutes. So for you, if you have a dry mouth, just take your time and just keep like don't talk like I'm talking. Almost there. Wow. This is getting there, we're getting there. I don't think I have anything left. So next step, number 4, unscrew the funnel lid and throw it away. So gonna unscrew it. Hope I have enough. There's a cap. So fasten the small cap onto the tube to prevent leakage or spilling, and then shake for at least 5 seconds. Right. Now I just have to package in the bag, put it back in the container, add it back into my box, and then I ship it away. And then I have 4 to 6 weeks. So the results is going to be really good to help me deal with the pain, the anxiety that I have, the depression. I have osteoarthritis. So this is some of the things that I'm really excited for. Hopefully, those of you who I recommend taking this kit right here, it will help you long term. And they're going to have your DNA. I wasn't even know the government has my DNA. If you guys do stuff, so at least have. And then if you like to get this kit, I recommend going online, GreenwayDNA. Use the code CBDHOW in all caps, CBDHOW, for 10% off your order. So I'll do a follow-up on this. I'll do more lives on this. I'll do proper education as time goes on. Once I have all the necessary information, I'll be able to talk to some doctors, get some proper feedback. I'll be able to look at all the data, and then we'll have some fun with it. So appreciate you guys so much. Yeah, this is here's to your health, and like Greenway DNA says, empowering your path to wellness. So appreciate you guys so much. Thank you for the support. Please visit GreenwayDNA.com, and as always, if you need education, please go to cbd.how, www.cbd.how.